So ladies and gentlemen, one thing that you'll realize as soon as you get your first little bit of success in entrepreneurship is that there really are levels to this. And yesterday, for example, we interviewed somebody who's doing over $1 million a month and has achieved over 9 figures in ad spend in the past 5-6 years, which is pretty insane, right? But today we're gonna climb even further up the ladder of success and analyze something really interesting that I came across. So let's not waste any time. Let's hop right into this. You saw the title, you know what we're getting into, somewhat at least, but I'm also keeping a little bit of the suspense there for retention and to keep it interesting. But now I'm ruining it by continuing to talk. So what I'm talking about is this company, or rather this organization called Textile Fashion Group. Now, at a first glance, you don't really know what this is. And even at a second glance, you may not know what it is. But if we take a third glance, we can go to their website and see that what this is actually a conglomerate of e-commerce direct-to-consumer brands. Brands such as Fabletics, Savage Fenty by Rihanna, like the lingerie, Fabletics for kids, Shoe Dazzle. Some of these brands, some of these e-commerce, I would say titans of the industry that are basically all billion-dollar companies, and they're all operated and ran by this group, the Textile Fashion Group. So what does this mean? Well, this group got started in 2010, so over a decade ago, with just one brand in one category, and they pioneered a new business model and built TFG into the innovative brand incubator behind the success of all those brands I mentioned. So what is this? It's a brand incubator. This is something I did not know about until really this year, to be honest with you, as I climb the ladder and start meeting more people, interviewing incredible founders, having conversations with some really interesting people out there. I'm starting to learn of all the levels in business, and it seems like there are a lot of secret sort of things that a lot of people don't discuss publicly that now, this information is coming to light through the internet. But for example, becoming an investor, building a venture capital fund, these things, like, who considers that, right? Like, all of our first starts in entrepreneurship were probably a dropshipping store, selling things on eBay, seeing that Tai Lopez here in my garage ad. This is like, it's kind of interesting to see how the dominoes can fall from that moment to now learning about venture capitalist groups and Series Bs and whatever. I mean, I still don't even know half of these terms, but I'm trying to learn them because it seems incredibly powerful. Now, if we take a look at the traffic distribution of just one of these stores that they own, Fabletics, we can see it gets 10 million monthly visitors. And then if we look at the Fenty one, Savage Fenty with Rihanna, it gets nearly 5 million monthly visitors. So just from those two combined, 15 million monthly visitors and billions and billions in revenue. That's just incredible. I mean, you don't see things like this often. And it, again, like I said, we look at this at a first glance. You look at a brand like this and you think, wow, this is absolutely incredible. But you don't really think about the people behind it that make it happen and the groups involved, all the different investors, all the different people of power, right, that have their hands in everything. It's really quite interesting the more that you look into it. But what's really interesting is that these guys are really taking advantage of influencer collaborations. I mean, they're showing all these famous people rocking the brands and creating brands with influencers. It's actually such a genius model. But, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, wow, that's genius. But they started doing this in 2010. Now, obviously, it's not as innovative as back then, but back then, nobody was doing this, keep in mind. So now I want to pack this video up with a little more info for you, just because, to me, this was a little bit of research for myself, to be honest with you, because this is the stuff that I'm trying to learn about. And I know it's not super relevant to a lot of you, but I would like to know if there are investors out there watching these videos. Maybe one of you has like a big trust fund. I don't know. Anybody out there that understands this world of, Silicon Valley investing, venture capital, private equity, you know who you are. Hit me up. I would love to connect and continue to learn more. And also join the Akemi Mastermind, because that's where we're discussing a lot of these things in detail as well. I drop all the research that I do in there. And that's what I'm about to show you. One of those things, for example, these cold plunge tubs. It's just funny because I just posted this in the Akemi Lab Mastermind because it's interesting that this exact portable ice bath and this kind of portable ice bath just continues to explode even more. I remember calling it out like not even a year ago, but let's say 6 months ago, and it was still, it was a pop-off trend, but it was like over here, right? Look at how much it's continued to explode. And it's just one of those things, like, I don't see it ending anytime soon. More and more people are getting into ice baths. And here's the crazy part, is just how many different kinds of products there are within each one of these trend categories. So this is a tool called Shop Hunter. It's a lot more affordable than Exploding Topics here. Shop Hunter is really affordable. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. I'll leave it in the description. But as you see, I just looked up cold plunge tub here, and there is an incredible amount of different product variations that are all selling right now by other different stores. And here's the thing, you got price ranges all over the place. Some of these are $20K. Like this one right here is literally $19,000 for this tub. Oh, actually it's $16,000 now. There's all different price ranges that you could start with for a brand like this, for a brand in the cold plunge space. Obviously this would be a little bit scary to do, to start with a $20K product, but at the same time, if somebody's willing to bite the bullet and take the risk, you're going to be in a pretty good position potentially, or in a lot of debt. Who knows? Either way, I just thought I'd show you that real quick, because I just wanted to show you that sometimes the trends that we talk about on this channel, I mean, almost every time, because they're data-based trends. I'm not just making these up out of thin air. They're a good idea to follow, because we covered this one a long time ago and it continues to explode. It's nice to see that we were right about that one. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Just wanted to uncover the curtains on some pretty interesting stuff that you probably don't hear a lot about in the YouTube sphere, right? I mean, this still is kind of gate-kept information, I would say. And I'm sure it didn't make any sense to a lot of you, but it makes a lot of sense to me. And I'm sure to 1% of you at least, you're like, whoa, this kind of blew my mind in a way, because that's how I feel. But that's about it. See you in the next video. Peace.